Welcome to the Girl Means Business podcast. I'm your host, Kendra Swalls. Over the last few years, I have built a business that allowed me to quit my 9-to-5, spend more time with the ones that I love, and live my best life. Now, I'm sharing everything I learned along the way with you. Each week, my guest and I will share actionable tips, tangible advice, and honest conversations to help you build your dream business. So get ready to take notes and put in the work because this girl means business. Hey guys, welcome back to the Girl Means Business podcast. We are on week 6, and today we are going to talk about all things Facebook. But before we jump into that, I do have a quick favor to ask. If you could just hit pause for 1 second and go leave me a quick review over in iTunes or in the podcast app, I would greatly appreciate it. Not only does it let me know what you're loving about this podcast, but it lets other people know whether or not this is something that they should listen to as well. It means the world to me. So just take a quick second, leave me a review, and then come back here and let's dive into all things Facebook. I am pumped up about this because last week I spent 3 days in St. Louis at a photography conference where I took so many classes about business and marketing and social media and photography and all the things. And I am just like bursting at the seams to talk about everything I learned at this conference. And so I'm going to share with you today some of the best Facebook advice I got since starting my business. I don't know if you're like me or not, but I have not always loved Facebook. I know that as a business owner, it's a really great platform, or it can be a really great platform if you know how to use it properly. But I have just been so frustrated with it over the last 2 years that I kind of abandoned my business Facebook page. Now I'm still posting to it through Instagram, which we'll get to, and why that's probably not the best idea and why I'm going to change that. But a lot of times I just felt like that I was spinning my wheels over on Facebook and nobody was hearing me. Nobody was seeing my post. And it was to the point where I kept thinking, why am I even bothering with investing my time in this platform? And I feel like I can hear some of you like nodding your head and going, amen, sister, because I know you feel like you've been in the same exact place. You don't know how to beat the algorithm. You don't know how to make Facebook work for you. So I'm so excited because I have 5 tips today that I'm going to share with you. 5 things that you should be doing on Facebook. In fact, these are 5 things that Facebook has even come out and said, this is what we want you to be doing on Facebook. And then we're going to talk about 2 things that you need to avoid. And I'm going to tell you right now that I follow some of you on Facebook. I have seen your pages and you're doing some of these things that I'm going to tell you to avoid doing. So I think you're going to find this episode super helpful, tons of really good information. And so let's go ahead and dive right in. Okay, so I want to start by saying, first of all, that one of the statistics I heard recently about Facebook that really kind of blew me away. And I will say this, as much as it blew me away, I also sort of knew this in the back of my mind. And that is that when you post content to Facebook, only an average of 1 to 6% of your followers are seeing your content. And I'm going to say that one more time. Only 1 to 6% of your followers are seeing your content. So that means for every 100 followers you have on your business page, only about 5 or 6 of them are seeing your content. Now, that can either come across as really discouraging, or you can look at it as, okay, well, now this means I need to become more strategic in how I'm using this platform. Because all that means with the organic reach is that when you log into Facebook and you post something about, had a great time at my session today, or hey, check out this latest design I created, those types of content are only getting seen by 1 to 6%. Now, however, Facebook has said, and we're going to get into this today, that there are certain types of content that they are really looking to push out because they want people to be engaged on their platform. They are not against us. It may feel like that Facebook is against business owners. They really aren't. They want to have engaging content. They want to push out content that is going to be valuable to their clientele. So really think of it like as if Facebook is a parent. As a parent of 2 little kids, I'm very careful about what I allow my children to consume when it comes to content. I'm not just going to go and give them free reign of my iPad with, YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and internet and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to filter what they get to see because I don't want them having everything at them at one time. That's what Facebook is doing to its clients, is that when you log into Facebook as a consumer, not as a business, but as a consumer, Facebook is saying, hey, I know that you like X, Y, and Z. I'm going to give you a little bit more of X, Y, and Z. I also know that you don't typically engage with or like these types of content. So I'm going to kind of push them further down your newsfeed where you're not going to see them. So Facebook is being our parent. It's telling us what we should and shouldn't be looking at. So in order to get around that, we as business owners, as content creators, we have to figure out how to create the type of content that our viewers, our clients are going to be engaging in, so that Facebook says, hey, we know that you as a client likes this type of content. This business has created this type of content. Here you go. Let's take a look at it. So that's what we're going to really focus on today, is how you can start creating some of that content so that 1 to 6% is not your average anymore. So I want to start with the 2 things that I feel like we need to be avoiding as content creators. And the first one I want to talk about are those, God love us, we love them, the memes, the GIFs, the graphic text, all that kind of stuff. Those are things that Facebook looks at as, quote, junk post. So I know that we all love a good meme. We all love those photos that just make us laugh, those silly cat photos or whatever they happen to be. And they're fun and all, but Facebook doesn't like those. Facebook has noticed that its clients are not engaging with that type of content as much as they are other types of content. So those things are getting pushed further down. It's kind of like looking in your mailbox. Think about when you open your mailbox at home and all this letters fall out, and you have content letters that are in envelopes that are nicely packaged, that have your name printed on the front, a nice stamp. They look really professional. Then you have the junk mail, you have the flyers, you have the postcards, you have the newspaper, coupons stuck in your mailbox. That's what Facebook sees when it pushes out content. And it's more likely to send its clients that beautifully packaged letter versus the crumpled up postcard that's been shoved in the back of the mailbox. In this case, that crumpled up postcard are memes and graphics with text written all over them, things like that. So while those are really fun, and you can definitely still share them from time to time, limit how often you're sharing those within your day-to-day content. You want to make sure that you're not just sharing the fluff stuff, that you're sharing things that are going to add value to your client's day-to-day life. So that's number 1, is just kind of limit those memes, those graphic text, anything that does not add value or it can be seen as just sort of silly. Okay, number 2 thing to avoid, and this is a big one, so I want you to make sure you take note. Limit how many links you share that take people outside of Facebook. So this one is going to be a little hard for a lot of people, especially those of you that are constantly linking to blog posts or linking to your website, because it's really easy to want to say, hey, check this out, and then click or add a link to a blog post, a website, or whatever it might be. However, here is the problem with that. Again, Facebook's goal is to keep people on Facebook. So if you think about it, their goal is to keep people on Facebook. So why would they want to share a link that takes people off of Facebook? So if you're constantly sharing posts that have a link to something outside of Facebook, they're going to look at you and go, this person is trying to get people off of our platform. We're trying to get people to stay on our platform. So maybe let's not share their content as much as we might be sharing somebody else's content. So be very careful in how often you are sharing links. To get around that, if you want to have people going back to a certain spot, you can obviously say, things like follow the link in my bio or follow the link on my page to go to my website or whatever you want it to be. And you can still share those links, just don't share them in every single post. Because again, once people start engaging with your content, it's going to get seen more often. But again, you have to get around that algorithm. You have to get through those filters, and you have to start sharing things first that people are going to engage with. Then you can add in those extra little things like the outside links and the fun memes. So let's recap. So the 2 things you need to avoid doing on Facebook right now. 1 is limit the type of junk mail, the junk post that you are sharing. So limit the memes, limit the funny little posts with graphics and things like that. Try to keep it to valuable content. And number 2 is make sure you are not sharing a bunch of links that take people outside of Facebook. Facebook wants to keep its clients on the Facebook platform, so it's not going to push out your content if you have a bunch of links taking people outside of Facebook. Okay, so now that we've talked about the 2 things you need to avoid doing on Facebook, let's talk about the 5 things that you should be doing on Facebook. 5 things that Facebook has come out and said they want more of. So number 1 is video. I know a lot of you are already cringing. I can hear it right now. I was there too. I'm not a fan of video, but that's because my idea of video is not exactly what the idea of video is that you should share on Facebook. So let's talk a little more about this. First of all, why video? Well, Facebook is in direct competition with YouTube. They want to become the next YouTube. And when you think about it, it really kind of makes sense, because what happens when you go to YouTube? You get sucked in for an hour watching random videos of people you've never seen in your life. Facebook wants people to stay on their platform for multiple reasons. 1 being they can push out more ads to you if you're staying on their platform longer. 2, it means that you are engaging in something they have created, which, let's be honest, as business owners, we would all love to have people engaged with. So it makes a lot of sense. So Facebook wants people to stay involved, stay engaged, remain on the platform. So they are really pushing out videos for people to watch. Now, if you've noticed it, I don't know if you've been on Facebook recently, especially on like a desktop version. Just this past week, I went through and I really cleaned up my Facebook friends list. I went through and I unfriended some people. I unfollowed some people. I got out of groups that I was no longer active in. I really went through and kind of Marie Kondo'd my Facebook page. Now, after doing that, it threw off the Facebook algorithm completely. They had no idea what to show me because I had just removed a bunch of stuff from my Facebook page. And so I started noticing that I was getting bombarded by these random videos. And it was things like cookie decorating and recipes, how to make certain foods, or video of a son asking his dad to be the best man. They both cry. And believe it or not, I laid in bed the other morning for about 20 minutes watching these random videos. Well, way to go. Kudos to you, Facebook. You tricked me. You got me into that loop. I fell for exactly what they're trying to get people to do. So imagine if your video was one of those ones that Facebook was showing to people that got people sucked in. What if it was your video that I watched while laying in bed one morning or while sitting in a car line waiting to pick up my daughter from school? That's what Facebook's wanting to do. So if you can create video content, then you are more likely to have your content seen by your followers. So here's where I want to talk to you for a second about this fear around video. I think a lot of us think of video as I have to set up a camera, I have to get in front of the camera, and I have to talk to the camera. And none of us like to do that for the most part. Some of you might. I'm not one of those people. I don't know what to always say in front of the camera. I feel weird like staring at myself on my phone if I'm doing like a FaceTime type camera thing. It's all very awkward and uncomfortable. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can do all kinds of different videos. So some examples would be things like a slideshow, a PowerPoint type presentation. So imagine if you took a blog post that you created. Let's say you created a blog post as a wedding vendor, wedding photographer, about the top 5 wedding trends you are noticing for this year. And you've created this blog post, you put it on your website. Now go take that and turn it into a video. And it can just be a video with music and photos and captions. Or it could be a video of you talking over a slideshow of photos and PowerPoint presentation type slides. Or it could be you in front of the camera talking about these trends. Or it could be photos or videos from actual weddings you've been in, whatever it might be. It doesn't have to be you standing in front of a camera. If you think about it, and you go back to the episode where I interviewed Sandy Booth about the social media manager and this, we talked a little bit about this, about how video doesn't always have to be your face. Some of the videos that I get sucked into the most are the ones where people are decorating cakes or cookies or creating some kind of recipe, and all you see are the ingredients and then occasionally someone's hands. Guys, that doesn't take a lot of work to get that done. It doesn't take a lot of prep. You don't have to put on makeup and fix your hair. You don't have to set up a camera thing. You don't have to be in front of, wear something nice. It can just be something as simple as showing off your products, showing off your service, showing a behind the scenes clip of something that you're doing or something that you're working on. So I want you to get creative. Sit down and make a list of some video ideas. Go back to old blog topics and come up with a list of ways you can turn those into videos. Go back to old content, things you've posted on Facebook already, and think, how can I take this and turn it into video content? And again, you can always go back, add captions. Because if you don't want your voice over it, or you don't like the way you sound, or you don't want to have to deal with, recording the audio part of it, then just create a video with music and add captions, because a lot of times people are watching it without sound. I know for me personally, I don't watch a lot of videos with sound because I'm either around my kids or I'm out in public somewhere, or I'm watching it while my husband's watching TV and I don't want to be interrupting. So a lot of times I'm watching video without the sound on, and a lot of other people are too. So adding those captions is just an extra level that makes it easier for people to watch. And then, of course, the lengthwise. The shorter videos do okay. About 15 to 30 seconds are considered short. The ones that do the best on Facebook are about 3 to 5 minutes long. So that's because they want, again, to keep people engaged. Okay. So if your video is 3 to 5 minutes long, more likely people are going to be engaged. Now, I will say for me, that's a little bit too long. I'm not going to watch a 5-minute video unless it's really interesting. I would say for me personally, the ones that I get caught up in are about 1 to 2 minutes long. So just figure out what works for you, what you're comfortable with. Again, go back and make a list of video ideas and then start testing a few of those out and see which ones are going to get more engagement, which ones you're going to start seeing more interaction with when you post it on Facebook. A lot of this is trial and error. You want to make sure that you're posting different types of content and seeing which ones are getting the most engagement, which type of video post work best for my audience. And here's an extra little bonus tip, guys. I know we haven't dived into or dove or divin, however that word goes. We haven't got into Facebook ads yet, but here's a really cool tip if you're already getting ready to do some Facebook ads. If you post a video to your Facebook page, and let's say that video is 3 minutes long, you can then go back in your Facebook ads manager and you can target people who have watched that specific video for a minimum amount of time. So for example, if I post that video that's 3 minutes long, I can go back and I can now specifically target the people who spent a minimum of 30 seconds or who watched 50% of that video. So it's really helpful too for when you start getting into advertising on Facebook, targeting specific people. Those video times will come in really, really handy. So I'm excited to see what y'all come up with. If you have some really great ideas, I would love for you to hop over to the Girl Means Business Facebook page. Better yet, go join the Girl Means Business Facebook group and share some of your video ideas in there. I would love to have y'all share those ideas. I think we can all learn some really creative ways to start creating some video content. And while I'm thinking about it, make sure if you're getting stuck on what type of video content to create or how to make this work for your business, go spend some time on YouTube or Facebook and figure out which type of videos you are most interested in. Again, I know I keep coming back to this, guys. I get sucked into those cake decorating videos every single time. I don't know why. I just love watching people decorate cookies and cakes. So I'm going to be figuring out how can I take that idea and implement it into my business. Okay, so video. Again, I know I kind of chatted on a long time about that, but I think it's really, really key. That's the big thing I see Facebook leaning towards right now is video, video, video. So make sure you're adding that into your lineup of content that you are putting out onto Facebook. All right, number two. Number two is that you need to be posting original content. Now, what this means is that Facebook does not like it when you are sharing posts from an outside third-party scheduler. And I know, this breaks my heart. I could just that little sound in the back going, wah, wah, because I love scheduling my content. I use later.com. It's been awesome. And I could just easily go in and schedule like a month's worth of content. But Facebook doesn't want you doing that. It prefers content that you are posting directly to Facebook. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to go in every single day and manually post at a specific time. I know for me personally, my audience is on Facebook in the evenings. I don't always have time in the evenings to go and think about a Facebook post. I'm either eating dinner with my family, I'm out at sporting events, I'm running around at photo shoots, whatever it may be. I can't always set aside time every day to go post that. However, within the Facebook app, within the Facebook program, you can schedule out your post in Facebook. So you can go to your Facebook business page, you can create a post, and then there should be a little clock in the bottom right corner that you can click on and you can manually schedule your post that way. So it's similar to doing it in a third-party scheduler app. You're just doing it through the Facebook platform itself. It's maybe not as pretty, it may not be as easy to use, but it does avoid having that kind of ding on your content because you didn't post it directly through Facebook. Again, Facebook wants you to use Facebook. So the more you're using outside content, the less they're going to like what you're posting. All right. Number 3 is be authentic and have interaction with your followers. So again, this kind of goes back to the whole thing about Facebook. It doesn't hate businesses. It's not against us. It just wants to make sure that we are really serving our clients authentically, that we're not just selling to them all the time. So one of the best pieces of advice I ever got in business, period, is that you should always be giving to your clients. It's not about asking them for something. You have to give, then ask for something. And this is kind of what Facebook is saying. They're saying, we don't just want you coming on here and going, buy this, buy this, buy this. It wants you to go in there and engage with your audience. It wants you to interact with them. It wants you to comment on their stuff. It wants you to have a conversation with them. It wants you to share content that they're going to find valuable. So this is where you need to start thinking about your ideal client. And if you haven't figured that out, go back to that episode 2 where we talk about ideal client profiles. Figure out who your ideal client is and find ways you can serve your client on Facebook with valuable content that feels authentic. So let's say, for example, that you are a realtor. So your job is to help people buy and sell houses. And it'd be really easy to go onto Facebook and say, hey, if you know anyone looking for a realtor, send them my way. Or, hey, look at this house I have listed for sale. If you know anybody looking for a house, send them this information. But that becomes white noise because people don't want to be sold to. If they're not in the place where they're looking to buy or sell a house, they're going to completely block that out. And Facebook is going to see that as a sales pitch type content, and they're not going to push it out as much. But if you were to go onto your Facebook page and you were to talk about the latest trends in home decor, the latest things you've seen as far as landscaping, creative landscaping ideas for houses that you've toured, or even a post about the craziest things you have found while showing homes. Those are all things that people are going to be engaged in. They're going to think that's really interesting. And if you're having conversations, or you might be asked a question and say, hey, what was the one thing you wish that you had in your house right now that your house doesn't have? What's on your dream list of, outdoor living areas? And if you start these conversations, now Facebook sees it as authentic conversation, authentic engagement, authentic interactions. And it's going to go, oh, this is content people are really interested in because they are engaging with it. It gets a lot of attention. It's not salesy. Let's push this out to more people. So think about ways that you can become more engaging with your clients, more ways that you can serve them and interact with them on a very natural basis. What are some things that you can talk about and share about? What interests does your ideal client have that you can then go and put out as content on social media? Because that's what Facebook's looking for. It's looking for that real, natural feeling, interaction, and conversation. Which takes me to number 4, which is ask questions. So I kind of gave this example a minute ago when it comes to things like, hey, what's something that you would want to have in your dream home? Or, what's the craziest thing that you have seen at a wedding? Whatever it might be. People love questions because it doesn't matter if they even are interested in what you are doing as a business. If you're asking for something, if you're asking their opinion, people want to give their opinion, whether you like it or not. And so asking a question that gets people thinking and gets them interacting with each other, Facebook loves that. I know if you've seen on Instagram stories, this is kind of jumping outside of Facebook for a second, but in Instagram stories, they have that thing where you can ask polls, you can ask questions like yes or no question kind of things. People love that stuff. I know for me, when I'm scrolling through my Instagram stories, even if I don't know the person really, or I don't have much to, thought or say on what they're talking about, I still want to answer the question because I want to be involved. And that's exactly what Facebook wants. They want you to ask these types of engaging questions because they want people to be involved. So again, kind of like going back to that list of things you can make videos about and that list of original content you can share, I want you to think of engaging questions you can ask. Now, make sure that they're questions that are not just yes or no questions. I see a lot of photographers posting like a color and a black and white, and they'll say, which one do you like better, color or black and white? And that's not really a very engaging question because people can just say color or black and white, or people will ask questions, things like, should I buy this dress? Yes or no? And, so you want to have things that are going to get a conversation started. So again, one of the things that I think is really helpful is to go and have a list of go-to questions, things that you have thought of that you can share as content on social media. Because when you sit down to start planning out your content or start scheduling your content, I tend to go blank. So if I have something I can refer back to that gives me content ideas, I can go, oh yeah, let me ask that question. Or, oh, that was a really great post. Let me see if I can't find a way to kind of tweak it a little bit and repost that same content. So having that sort of go-to file somewhere on your computer, on your phone, wherever you want to keep it, is going to make things a lot easier when you're going to schedule out your content. One platform I love to use for this is Asana, asana.com. It works sort of like a bulletin board in that you can organize your content and you can use it to kind of help keep you on track. And you can see what you've posted, what you haven't posted, ideas. I use this a lot for my blog content, podcast content. Lets me know like what have I already talked about? What have I not talked about yet? And then it also gives me a place to sort of brain dump where I can go and just throw all of my ideas in one place and then go back to that when I'm trying to figure out something to create. I can go, oh yeah, I never did talk about this. Or, oh, that's a really great one. I forgot about that. Just having a place where you can go and throw all these ideas in one spot is really going to help you not feel like you're staring at a blank screen when you go to post content on Facebook. All right. So number 5. Number 5 is kind of a big one because just in the past few days, if you have been on Facebook, you might have noticed a little bit of a change. You may not have. Facebook is really pushing groups. They want people to be joining groups, involved in groups, participating in groups, leading groups. I feel like that the future of Facebook is not so much going to be what you're putting out onto your Facebook feed, but it's what you can create within groups. What Facebook has realized is that when people create groups that are based around a common theme or interest or idea, that people are more engaged within that group than they are on just their news feed. Because whether it's they feel like it's a safer place to share, or maybe they feel like that these people are going to get me because they all have the same interest as me, whatever it is, Facebook has realized that groups are the future. So here are some ways that you can be using groups to help boost your business. Number one, if you are already part of groups in your community, then find ways to add value within those groups, because people are more likely to see content that is posted within a group than they are content that is posted on your newsfeed. So going back to that idea of the real estate agent. So let's say that you are within your community, you're in several community groups or moms groups or whatever kind of groups you have, neighborhood groups. And those groups don't allow you to advertise within that group, which is reasonable. So there are ways that you can add valuable content to those groups without being salesy, without advertising your business, but that gets your name in front of people. So for example, again, using the realtor example, if you are a realtor in your community and you've seen some really crazy things, or let's say that you have seen some really amazingly decorated homes around the holidays, then go into the Facebook group and say, oh my gosh, guys, I was showing a client this house the other day and I saw the most amazing photo display in their hallway, or they had the coolest Christmas tree, or, oh my gosh, this outdoor landscaping was incredible. If you're looking for a really unique way to landscape, here's a really good idea. And then maybe have a photo that you took of their landscaping or whatever. But I think that kind of content is not going to be seen as salesy. You're not advertising your business. You haven't shared a link to any of your stuff, but you have kind of mentioned casually, while I was showing a client this house, this is what I saw, blah, blah, blah. So now what happens is if you're constantly in that Facebook group and you're constantly giving valuable content, people are going to start looking at your name and they're going to go, oh, she must be a realtor. And they might click on your page. They might go to your, personal page or your business page and see what you're about. And then if you are constantly kind of in their face, in their newsfeed, because you're in these groups, then they are going to now think of you the next time that they or someone they know is looking for a realtor. Because if you think about it, let's say someone pops into that same group 2 weeks from now, when you had posted 3 or 4 times about something, like, hey, I have seen some really cool interior design ideas. I would love to know, how would you decorate this space? Maybe it's a space you say, hey, I just sold a client this house and they need help trying to figure out what to do with this one random nook in their house. How would you decorate this? People are going to jump at responding at that. And then let's say that 2 or 3 weeks from then, someone else posts in the group, hey, we're getting ready to sell our house. We're looking for a realtor. Does anybody have a recommendation? I can almost guarantee somebody is going to tag you in that post because they have now seen your name. They've seen the content you've given. They have a personal connection with you, whether it's in real life or through the internet, and they are going to recommend you to that person or the friend they go to lunch with that says, hey, we're looking to buy a new house. Do you know of anybody? So that is how those groups are going to be really valuable to you. I know a lot of business owners get really frustrated with groups because they're like, oh, I'm in all these groups, but I can't do anything about it. I can't post about it. I can't tag my business. I can't, whatever. Or, oh, these people are always just looking for the best deal. But if you are in there and in those groups and you are active and you are visible, you're getting your name out there, you are sharing valuable content, and you are becoming a valuable member of that group, then it's going to benefit your business in the long run. So these groups can kind of serve as a long game. It's not going to be a quick jump in, get new business. You're building a reputation, you're building relationships, you're building that like, know, and trust factor with the people within that community or that group. The second way you can use groups within Facebook is to create your own. So let's say, for example, that you have been searching in your community to find a group to join that meets all of your standards and you're just not finding that group, then make it yourself. Create your own group. I know that a lot of boudoir photographers do this, especially because Facebook is very strict about what you can share as far as boudoir content, even sometimes within groups, but groups are a little more lenient because they're not public. And I have a lot of boudoir clients that don't always want to ask questions or talk about boudoir sessions publicly. So doing it within that group feels like a safe space. So I know a lot of people have created groups similar to that where women can go in and share their experiences, share their photos, ask questions, give reviews, give examples of what they might wear for their session or whatever. So if you're not finding a group in your area that fits what you're looking to do or the mission you have in mind, then create your own. And it may take time to slowly grow and build it. But if you are really devoted and committed to giving valuable information, not creating a group that you can sell to, not creating a group where you're going to every week throw in a, hey, come book a session with me, or hey, come buy this product from me. But if you're creating a group that is solely based around getting your name in front of people, becoming the expert, becoming the person that people will go to for advice and information, then maybe creating your own group is the way to go. So again, I'm going to recap the 5 things that you need to be doing on Facebook right now. I hope these have helped you. I think they're very tangible things that you can take care of right now. Number 1 was use video. Make sure you are creating video content because that's what Facebook wants people watching to stay engaged and stay on the Facebook platform. This doesn't have to be long, super boring videos of you talking head in front of a camera. Get creative, find ways that you can turn your old content into video content and start sharing that out there. Number 2 was posting original content, not using a third-party scheduling app. Make sure you are posting your content directly to Facebook and you can schedule it through Facebook, but you're not scheduling it from a third-party app. Number 3 was be authentic. Interact with your followers. Don't just go on there and sell. You want to do the opposite. Go onto Facebook and give. People are going to start recognizing your name. They're going to start having your name become synonymous with information, valuable information, expert information. And then people are going to turn to you the next time they're looking for whatever it is that you're offering. Number 4, ask questions. Come up with engaging questions that start a conversation. I'm not saying you have to go and be political or religious or get really deep into all kinds of, social standards, social things going on, but post questions that make people think, that get people involved. And I think you'll start to see your engagement go up. And the 5th thing was groups. Make sure you are involved in groups. Create your own group if you want to, but groups are the future of Facebook. That's where people are going to be spending their time. And then a quick recap of the 2 things not to be doing on Facebook. 1 is, remember, you're limiting the memes and graphics that you are sharing that don't add value, that junk mail, junk post type content. And 2 is make sure you're not sharing a bunch of outside links all the time. People want to be staying on Facebook. Facebook wants their clients to stay on Facebook. So make sure you limit the number of posts that you are sharing, the number of links you are sharing that take them outside of Facebook. All right, guys. So those are the 7 things that I have learned over the past few months about Facebook that hopefully will help you kind of beat that algorithm, get out of that 6% reach. I know Facebook can be really frustrating and it changes all the time. So who knows? In a few weeks, I may be coming back here and telling you to do everything exactly the opposite. You never know what's going to happen with Facebook, but give these a try. Jump over on the Girl Means Business Facebook page or join the Facebook group and let me know how these are working for you, or if you've heard of any other great tips for getting around the Facebook algorithm and becoming more involved in Facebook. I really do think that it can be a great platform for our businesses. We just have to know how to use it properly. All right, guys, let's jump into our listener lounge. This week's question I'm really kind of excited about. It comes from a friend of mine. Her name is Ranjani Groth. She is another photographer here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. She's part of my business brunch, and I just adore her. And so let's listen to her question, and then I'll get to the answer in a second.
When is a good time to raise your prices? Let's say you have a lot of experience under your belt, and your work is high quality. You've put in the effort to make sure that you're delivering time and talent worth those higher prices. You've calculated your cost of doing business, and you know that you should be making more to cover that, and that you can be making more. So when is a good time to make that jump?
Okay, this is a really good question because I think that as business owners, we take this part of our business a little too personally. We think so much is focused on the price that we are charging, the price we are asking for our products or service. And really, that's not that big of a deal. I think, yes, obviously it's a big part of our business, but I don't think that there is a certain time that is better than another time to raise your prices. If you feel like that your product or your service has increased in value, then you increase the amount that you're charging for it. And you don't have to have any kind of notice. You don't have to let people know you're doing it. You just have to do it. And don't wait for the first of the year. Don't wait for a slow season. If you feel like that you are not getting paid what you are worth in your business, then go to your website right now and change your prices right this second. I don't think that there needs to be this grand conversation and all this thought behind, okay, what's the best way strategically to raise my prices? Should I do it this week? Should I do it next month? Should I wait until after the holidays are over? I think you just have to do it. We need to start thinking about our businesses more like retail businesses. If I go into a Michael Kors store and one week their handbag is $300 and I don't buy it, and then I go back the next week and it's now $400, I'm not going to go complain to management and say, you didn't tell me you were raising your prices on this. It's not their job to tell us. Either I go in and I pay the price that's on the price tag, or I don't. Simple as that. And so as a business owner, you have to look at your business in the same way. If you are not getting paid what you are worth, then now is the perfect time to go in and raise your prices. All right. I hope that answers your question. I know it's some tough love sometimes, but I think that it's really important to know that we have to start thinking about our businesses as less of a personal endeavor and more of just a business endeavor. All right, guys, thank you all so much for joining me again this week. I love that y'all are listening. I can see that my numbers are going up each week. People are tuning in. I'm getting messages all the time telling me how much you're enjoying it. Nothing makes me happier than knowing I'm producing something that is giving you value, that's helping you grow your business, and that is just making you really happy, because that makes me really happy. So again, if you have not left me a review, please, please, please go do that really quickly before you end this podcast, before you listen to another one. And also, I need your questions, guys. Each week, I am adding a listener lounge question to the episodes. But in order to do that, I need to have your questions. So if you have a question about business that you want answered, please send me your questions. You can do that several ways. One, you can head over to my Instagram page, Girl Means Business. Send me a voice recorded message through the DMs there. You can do the same thing through Facebook. Just send me a voice recorded message. Or you can record your message on your phone or on your computer and then email it to me at hello@paisleylanephotography.com. All right, guys, I hope y'all have a wonderful week. I will see you again next week. Same time, same place. Bye. If you loved today's episode, don't forget to click the subscribe button so you never miss when a new episode goes live. Then head over to iTunes and leave a quick review to let other people know just how much you loved it. Thanks, ladies. See you next week.